everyone. I'm late. I I don't even know what to say. See if I can get some music going on here. Um, Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hope everybody is doing well. It has been a very long time since I've done a video, and I've had a lot of stuff to talk about, but um, it's fairly annoying when you keep, hearing people use your stuff and deliberately contradict me. Um, just stuff like that is annoying. So just decided to take some time to kind of get over that. But um, it's some information that there you go. It's some information that I want to share about stuff that is going on that I'm kind of just going to go through. Um, and going to try not to make this live too long. But I titled this video "The Led Zeppelin and Groundhog Day," and I think on a normal planet these things might not go together, but the whole concept of the Led Zeppelin is it makes me think of Pluto in retrograde because this is making me crazy. Because Pluto went back into Aquarius, right? Or to Capricorn. And so, Capricorn on our tarot spiral is the high priestess, the tower, and the star. And so, with Pluto going from Aquarius into Capricorn, it's like revisiting some of this drama, that has been going on. Shalom, shalom has been going on for people, and that whole concept of, like, are you sure you really, want to be able to, have the sun and the moon do your judging for you, or do you have to be sort of this in the high priestess energy, which is more like overt and out there, which is different. So it's kind of like just rechurning this stuff back up. And I heard something in a video that I shared from the astrologer Adrienne Elise, and she was saying that the last time Pluto was shalom shalom, the last time Pluto was in this degree of Capricorn for the last time was all the way back um, in 1776 when this country, quote unquote, country was founded. And so this is the kind of energy that we're going into, this complete upheaval. And so I know a lot of people are looking for covert things. Shalom, shalom. Oh goodness. I see some of my South African friends on Twitter talking about how cold it is. So we're sending you guys lots of warmth because that cold is a lot. Um, so we have this keep, people are looking for this thing to be overt, like people are saying, oh, secrets exposed, oh this, oh that. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be that. And this is how we get into the concept of the Led Zeppelin, right? Because this is somehow this ties together. One of the sisters sent me a video, which is I shared it about the crop circles, and in the comments of the video, someone said, "Well, this crop circle looks like the cover to the Led Zeppelin album," which is what I used for the tag of this video. And because people were saying, "Well, why does this crop circle look so fake?" You know, all this stuff like about the crop circle. And the crop circle was from the 4th of April, which is 1 month exactly before this so-called king was inaugurated, crowned, and it was also a full moon. So the transits on that, particular crop circle are really unbelievable. And so people were like, no, it's fake, it's this, it's that. And I said, no, especially once you look at the Led Zeppelin album, it was obvious that they were trying to invoke that memory to people of a certain age. I'm not one of those people of a certain age who would remember that album, or even remember Led Zeppelin, because um, I'm familiar with the Yardbirds, which I think the drummer or something came from there, because I listen to a lot of 60s music, but Led Zeppelin is kind of like 70s music, and I don't really listen to a lot of 70s music. So I wouldn't have that reference point, but it was trying to, you know, I would say more than likely the awakened people who are of that age would remember that group. It would snap that memory so that, somehow this information would get put out into the atmosphere, that this is kind of referencing this whole concept of the crop circles, and what that means. And so without like going into all the stuff I've uncovered about Led Zeppelin, there's definitely a huge rabbit hole to go into with the whole Led Zeppelin thing. Um, because, but I'll just, shorten it. Um, Demonic band, yeah, I don't know, because I've never. It's a very, very weird. Um, Stuff going on. They use a lot of esoteric symbology, lots of like interesting stuff. But and why they would choose that, especially at the time, is very interesting. But but the concept of the Zeppelin is very interesting, because I shared the video of that tornado that was going on in the lava, and it kind of looked like the shape of the Zeppelin, like going up and down, kind of like how it looks in that album cover. And I was like, okay, so what do we have going on here? The Zeppelin kind of reminds me of like um it's the quote unquote inventor, whoever, this guy Zeppelin, he clearly used um the shape of a whale to create this flying machine. And so you're just thinking like, okay, so why would somebody think that a whale shape would be you know good for flying? It's very like kind of all over the place. But if you think of tying it back into somehow Pluto going into retrograde, if you think of this whole concept of what the whale symbology means, then you can see how this whole concept of the weight of being human, um, or the flesh of being human, doesn't have to be one of these experiences that ties you down. Meaning you have to be able to um, transmute the energy that comes along with that to navigate through multiple um, timelines. Because now the concept of timelines has really started coming up for people, right? And so, because I do need to talk about the other part of that. So I don't know if any of that made any sense, but it is kind of it's a very like bewildering thing to go from crop circles to this artist to looking into the Zeppelin, trying to figure out what in the world they're talking about, and tying that into this flesh that can weigh us down, but we have to be able to navigate through the multiple timelines in the same, you know, with the flesh. We can't navigate the timelines without the flesh. It's not really, it doesn't work like that. And this Pluto going back, this Pluto retrograde is almost like, hey, before Pluto goes into Aquarius and we get into this whole sun and moon manipulation, you better make sure you know how to navigate your flesh through these different timelines as is. Because it's one thing to be able to navigate the timelines with the help of the sun and the moon, that kind of like more of a magic kind of thing. But it's a totally different thing to be able to command a timeline change, in this flesh. Instead of saying, I'm going to command timeline changes just by using the sun and the moon to kind of move that along in the way that I want, as far as Pluto is concerned, in that whole, judgment energy. And so it seems it's I think that for me it just brought up a lot of, because what has been happening with me, is that all the stuff that, from when Pluto went into, um, what is this, Capricorn, which was in 2008. It's like literally just brought me back to 2008 to see if I'm going to be able to navigate this timeline, with the knowledge that I have now. Can I navigate some of the same things that were, issues for me at that time? Can I navigate those same things now? And so that's what Pluto in retrograde is, because the title of that album is Remaster. It's like literally remastering yourself, remastering these experiences. Maybe you got through the experience of 2008 through 2020, you know, three, okay, from the time Pluto went into Capricorn to the time when it went into Aquarius. Maybe you got through these things, this time period, okay, but can you say that you are able to remaster that energy? So I'll give you two examples of this for me. One is, I went to the store and I had bought a bottle of kombucha and I was drinking it, and then I was loading the car up, and I got home to unload the car. I could not find this bottle of kombucha. I said, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what's going on. This is so crazy. Um, and so I said to myself, I was like, I don't know where this bottle went. I don't know why I can't find it, but I need to be on the timeline where I walk out and I come back in with my kombucha because I bought it. I felt like I needed something for my digestion, whatever. I was something that I wanted. It's the only thing I bought for myself, so I really, really wanted it. And I went out to the car. I was looking for the bottle. Told my sister, I said, "Well, if you see it, this is what it looks like." And I reached my hand into a box and I pulled it directly out. I didn't see it the first two. I've been in and I got a bunch of stuff. I didn't see it. But because I said in my, that was a remastery of myself. And the old me would have just let that whole thing go by and been like, Dad, I just lost it. Maybe I'll walk to the store later, get another one, whatever. But the remastery said, no, I have command of the timelines, and I need to be on the timeline where I walk out to this car and I pull out my bottle and I'm able to move forward with what I have planned for the day, and that was my intention, and that is what I got. And so this is the time period for all the stuff that you've learned since 2008. You need to be putting that stuff into action, and not the stuff, not the, not the stuff that's outside of you, not commanding the stuff that's outside of you, but really dealing with the stuff that's inside. Using that strength, being that we're in the strength energy, we're in Leo, using that inner strength to pull what you want out, as opposed to being controlled and manipulated by the stuff that's on the outside. That's the remastery. So finally I have brought this thing together. So that's what Pluto, that's what Pluto in retrograde right now is from now until January. And so with my very small experience that I had, I am saying if you want to, make it through this time period without having to relive every single thing from 2008 to 2023 when this thing went into Aquarius, you need to use remastery. You have whatever it is that's been your major theme for the last however long. You need to, huh? Who is it? Quentin? Somebody's knocking at my door. You need remastery. So that is what will help you to navigate through this Pluto in retrograde. Now, the second part of this Groundhog Day, which I find to be way more important, but I wanted to get that out because it's the most crazy thing. And of course, it's also a call for everybody. Please pay attention to the subtle energies. Before I go into Groundhog Day, please pay attention to the subtle energies. These entities are trying to communicate with us how to successfully navigate through these time periods. But if you're not tuned in to the subtle energies, you will thank you. You will never figure out what's going on. It's all very all over the place until you tune into the subtle energies. So, one video about you know, crop circles somehow gets me the answer of how do we navigate through Pluto and retrograde, which is remastery. Use the stuff, your inner strength to get through this time period. And I wish I could have gave you that information sooner, but it didn't click until just now. So that's one part. Now, Groundhog Day. I have been talking about this. The last video I brought it up, and I'm going to bring it up again. We are getting ready to go into Saturn in retrograde. Now, if anybody remembers, think back to a year ago, Saturn, which is will be around the solstice, Saturn in retrograde. What does that do? That puts you in a loop, a feedback loop for whatever it is. You know, Whatever it is that's going on for you, it puts you in a feedback loop. And so, the number one, Saturn is going into retrograde at 7 degrees. So, if you have anything at 7 degrees in your chart, which me is unbelievable, um, what's in my chart and like my Jupiter is at 7 degrees, and Jupiter is going to be at 7 degrees. So Jupiter is going to be at 7 degrees, Saturn is going to be at 7 degrees, and I have Jupiter at 7 degrees in my chart. It's also my Nadir point, which is the mother's point. It's called the IC. So the MC is the beginning of your 10th house, which is your midheaven, the top of your chart, and the IC is the bottom of the chart, which is the mother's point for you. So this is literally going to happen at a point in my chart, which is a very critical point in my chart. And so look at your charts. If you have anything at 7 degrees, that's where it's going to really hit you particularly hard. And so that being said, it's going to be a feedback loop. And because Saturn is going to be conjunct, now I don't use the terms the way the astrologers do because I realize that there's trines and squares and all that. I don't use the terminology like that. I just don't. I just say if it's going to be at the same degree, it's going to be conjunct. That's everything. That's mostly what I'm looking for. Is it going to be at the same degree? So anyway, it's going to be, and I don't. So I don't know if that's the proper term. That's just Negro term that I made up. I use it like that. So it's going to be at the same degree. Saturn and Jupiter are going to be at the same degree when Saturn goes into retrograde. Now, this is going to put us in a feedback loop in regards to our physical wealth and abundance. This is extremely important to understand because it is also going to be this whole Juneteenth thing. So whatever you're feeding, um, whatever mindset, whatever energy you have out um, during this whole Juneteenth thing, um, that's coming up this weekend is what you're going to have a feedback loop until November. It's going to feed you back that same energy, because that's what Saturn. It's Groundhog Day, and it's Groundhog Day all the way from June 17th, 18th, all the way through November the 4th. And so it is a little late maybe to put something in place where you can actually um, physically be bringing in more money, in time to create that kind of feedback loop. But you do still have the ability to put yourself in the proper mindset. So if you're going to do any of these Juneteenth celebrations, like I do have to go out on that day because my daughter's going to be performing. You want to carry the vibration, the mindset that you are going to how what's the best way to put that? You need to carry a mindset that does not put you in a negative vibration towards money, which negative, well, quote unquote negative would be I need more money, I don't have enough money, or something like that. It needs to be more positive, like, you know, um, this is opening up opportunities for me to make more money. Um, you know, I get into the vibration. If you have to, like, lie to yourself, say I am making more money. This is bringing me more income. This is bringing me more freedom. This is expanding my life in relations to my money and my home life. This is expanding me. This is making me better. This is making things better for me. That's probably a better way to put it. This celebration is going to make things better for our community. I've been very negative about this, all the way up until this point, because I was like, Dag, I don't want our people to get stuck in this feedback loop of I want reparations. But I could another way I could frame that is like this is going to make our community more aware of the need of resources, which could be good for us. This is going to make our community more focused on bringing in the proper resources, which would be good for us. So we have to really hold and it's also a full moon coming up. So it's a lot of energy that's coming into this weekend. So we really have to, hold the right vibration. So with this whole concept of the remastery, we have to that comes along with Pluto, with Saturn. We also have to hold this energy of um you know, abundance, or whatever it is that we want, but especially physical abundance. We have the physical abundance. We're currently in possession of our physical abundance. We have our inheritance. We're not, we did take back the kingdom, that kind of energy, as opposed to being, feeling negatively about it, in any way, because you're going to be stuck in that feedback loop all the way until November. And we have to hold the vibration, because especially women, we hold the vibration. We men are incapable of holding a vibration. They cannot carry life. Okay, they don't carry life. They disseminate life, they do not carry life. And so we are the ones who hold the vibration. Men can reach the vibration, they can come up to the vibrational level that we are holding, but we are the ones who set the tone, And so we must have a vibration, hold the vibration for everyone else to meet us at. And it may seem like, for me, I always say, well, why is it, it's got to be more people out here than, just me doing this stuff. And, videos are like, I don't get a lot of traction with my work or whatever. I don't care about that, because I know for a fact, once I put into the ley line that we are going to hold the vibration, that the abundance is already within our community. The abundance is already, look at the abundance of people we have that are looking for, our kingdom to be restored. That's a very positive way to look at it. Look at the people that are gathered to see our independence restored. and our wealth restored. We have a lot of people putting in energy towards that. We want to hold a positive vibration about that, and hopefully that will bring everybody, instead of people being angry about it, they will be celebrating the restoration of our you know, of our freedom. And that's what Juneteenth is about. So what they're trying to do with this whole Juneteenth thing is have people, angry about it. But if we're joyful about it, because it's really a celebration of our quote unquote freedom. So we should be joyful about that as we celebrate it, and it's very easy to go from that being joyful about it to being angry that we don't really have it, so um that is it's just it's going to take a lot of physical energy on our part to hold the vibration, so we don't get caught up in the negative part of it, the negative programming that the media is trying to do to get us to have this low vibration, because it's going to play out over and over again for the next 6 months. So me, I'm going to hold a high vibration in relation to it. I'm going to be very positive about my abundance being restored going into this weekend. I did share a link to this a sister, Mommy Omega. She's doing a money pot. I participated in her last healing ritual. It was extremely helpful for me, and so I highly recommend it. If you got, I think it's like $15.55. If you got it, please participate in it. It will help to raise the vibration, and if you look at the time that this is happening, this literally lines up with this time that we will be, going into this money energy, going into Saturn in retrograde, as opposed to, holding a vibration of money going into Saturn retrograde, positive abundance, calling that energy in, as opposed to going into the energy of lack, lack of in mindset, lack of anything. Me personally, I have invested in our community, holding the vibration of abundance by investing myself into this money pot. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, I pay my money willingly because I want to bring that energy into our community. And I know that if I'm holding the vibration, at least I will be able to help bring other people up to our vibration. So whatever that means for you, bringing people up, holding the vibration of abundance, especially going into the Saturn retrograde, it's extremely important, because you will actually be carrying that thing over and over and over and over again. And what you don't want, or what I don't want for you, is to be carrying the energy of having a negative feel about that, and whatever the media is trying to put out there, and then carrying that out for the next 6 months while Saturn is in retrograde. And so I hope that information is helpful. Some other information is, do I know what sign is Saturn going into? Let me see what sign Saturn is in. I can't remember. Um, Let me just check and see what sign Saturn is in, so we can talk about that too. Because I don't remember. Oh no, I don't have it here. What sign is Saturn in? Let me see. So I know Pluto is in Capricorn, and remember, Capricorn is the high priestess, the star, and the tower. And what's interesting is that this is all under the Ace of Pentacles. So this is also all tied into wealth and money, and that's why you see the whole money system is like falling apart, because that's what this is tied into. It's just, it's very weird how this thing is. I'm connected. Am I? There we go. It's very weird how this thing is holding out. Let me just see where Saturn is. One chart. Okay. Wow, Saturn is in Pisces. Okay. Saturn is already at 7 degrees. What? Australia? What the heck? Why did it say Australia? Hold on. Okay, this is better. Okay, but Saturn is still already at 7 degrees. Okay, Saturn is at 7 degrees of Pisces. Okay, so we have two signs. It's going into retrograde in two signs that are both in the money slice. Pisces is the Empress, the World, and Temperance. And then we have the High Priestess. So we have a lot of very feminine energy, and so this is really, really telling me that it is the women who have to hold this energy and really get into this high priestess energy of transmuting and, middle path, using the positive and the negative, the dark and the light to, navigate through. And then the empress, which is standing in that and not letting, these any other entities get you off of this energy, because you have temperance on one side, which is like the archangels, and you have the world on the other side. So it's basically, to me, it's like holding everything together. It's holding, in the midst of a tower moment, because the high priestess has the tower in there, and so it's just not like with it's not going to be without um you know it's not going to be without stuff going on. It is. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but we have to um, we have to be able to, like I said, hold the vibration and hold the energy. Let me see what else is going on in this chart. Um, Let me see. Saturn goes into retrograde. Okay, so by June 17th, which is Saturday, Saturn will be in retrograde. Jupiter won't be quite at 6 degrees yet. But let me see what's else going on in this chart. Mm, this is a really weird chart. Okay, so that's the most important thing about that. All right, so some other information I wanted to discuss. The whole again, as I've been saying for a while now, we are going into, or we are in the strength energy. We have been in this energy since 1992. We are perhaps going into Aquarius on one timeline, but we have the capabilities of navigating between timelines. And it takes um, a lot of focus and a lot of energy to be able to navigate between these timelines. However, once you understand that there are multiple timelines, multiple options, and you are really with your thoughts determining which timeline that you're going to go on to, it becomes easier to navigate through this stuff. So, when you have thoughts that are negative, that bring you outcomes that you don't want that come up, the best way to deal with those kind of thoughts is to, counter that thought with the thought of, no, I'm not going into that. That's not an option that I'm going to choose. And the reason why you would want to think about it in that way, because if you give that thought too much energy, you are going to go on to that timeline. And so what you don't want is going to manifest. Now we're in a time period where things will manifest. Whatever, just like I told my, kombucha bottle to manifest, this applies across the board. Things will manifest. So if you are, trying to manifest money, abundance, stability, whatever the case may be, these things will manifest if you are able to hold the vibration. And holding the vibration is holding the thought. People make vibration and energy to seem very woo woo and out there. And that's not the case. Energy and vibration are both very tangible. And they're tangible by the thoughts that you hold, because that thought that you hold, it is programming your cells to respond in such a way, and the things around you to respond in such a way. So if you are able to hold the thought that you of what you want, you will be able to actually manifest what it is that you want. And that is a pretty new concept to us, because, it's a lot of energy out there around, us being into, magic, um, thoughts and feelings. Yes. There's a lot of energy out there for us getting into magic. And magic is manipulating the energy around you. Around you. No, this is not magic. Okay, sorry. Magic is not manipulating yourself. Magic is manipulating the energy around you. And there is nothing wrong with that inherently. However, in the time of strength, we are to be manipulating what's within us and using our what's inside of us to control what's going on around us, not necessarily focusing so much energy on using the things that are outside of us to control our response. And so it doesn't mean that all of these things are any of this stuff is bad, because nothing is inherently bad or good. It's the intention that you put behind it. So we have to be very intentional with how we use our energy, because literally what we think about is going to manifest, period. Whether you burn a candle, whether you write it out, whether you put a prayer with it, whatever it is you do, what you think about will manifest. And it's important to be very intentional about what we think about. So I'll give you guys another sort of example of this. I've been, looking for or asking, or a lot, not me, I've been watching other people's videos, and they've been talking about, you know, um, this whole time of the exposure, right? And we know that, things have to be exposed, things have to be brought to light. And I started talking about this earlier in the video, and I got a little bit off track, so I'm gonna go back into this. People are looking for this exposure to Okay, thank you, sister. Just tune into the replay later. It'll be up. Get you some rest. So people have been, expecting this whole um exposure to be public. Like, it's going to be public exposure. People are going to actually come out. People are going to be perp walked for their crimes and all that stuff, right? And I started thinking about that, like, well, maybe that's not what's going to happen. And if, or it may happen, but maybe that's not how it's going to be. That's not what going to be how it starts. And I know it's not going to be how it starts, because you can see that that's not what's happening. What's happening is people are having dreams about stuff. Shavi Zane did a video about a couple videos about people in the industry and how they're being sacrificed and stuff like that. And she made a statement which was, I thought, very, very important for us, which is, she didn't have the physical evidence that these celebrities were doing things they weren't supposed to, but she has the spiritual evidence. In the spiritual realm, she's got the evidence, hook, line, and sinker. And so that is how things are going to start. We're going to be given the spiritual evidence before the physical evidence appears. And that's going to be amongst everything. And this is why our inner strength is what is very important, because that is going to let us know what is coming next. We are going to get the feeling. This is where your thoughts and your feeling. We're going to get the feeling about what is going next, what is coming up. So one of those feelings that we don't want to hold, or I would suggest monitoring very closely is whatever in your life you say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm okay with this, but I'm not going to do that." That whole "I'm not going to do" is the thing that you will do. And I can say, for myself, I say, I'm not going to get involved in politics. I don't want to be nowhere near that mess. I was the worst thing I could have possibly said because I'm literally going to have to get involved. I have stipulations. Because if this is how they want to test me, that's fine, but I'm not going to be tested with nothing. That's not going to happen. Like, you're going to have to test me once I have what I need in order for this to be done, because it is a co-creative process. So, once that line has been established on what it is that you need to do, you got to put some stipulations on it. I always put stipulations on stuff. Because if you read any of the laws and you go back, I think I had a playlist with all the law videos. There's stipulations on everything. None of the laws mean anything without the stipulations. So, certain things that have to be met, criteria that have to be met, and that's how I operate. Okay, this is what you want. That's fine. I'll do it, but I have to have my personal criteria met before I get into this stuff. And so, I implore people, the thing that you said that you're not going to do is probably what you're going to have to do. So a lot of people are still trying to figure out what their mission is, what they're supposed to be doing, um, how they're supposed to get there. And I promise you, it is exactly what you said you're not going to do. That's the first one. Second of all, um, it it doesn't have to be bad, but the more you fight against it, the you know, the harder it's going to be. So we see this kind of like how Sister Pat is talking about this whole, kind of relationship type thing that you have to deal with. It's going to be like that for everybody. It's going to be the thing that you really don't want to get involved with because of some prior bad experience. And that's Pluto in retrograde, right? This is where the remaster shalom, shalom, shalom. This is the remastery. This is to see really if you have taken all these things that you've learned since 2008, and can you put it into action to remaster a situation that's been going poorly for you. 2008 is a long time. If you think over the time between that 2008 and now, you will clearly see there's a lot of stuff that happened in this time period. A lot of tower moments. Why? Because this energy is the high priestess, the tower, and the star. You're either going to be in one of those three energies. Ooh, this is good. You're going to be in one of those three energies through this process. Wow, I can see why this hero spiral is the way that it is. All praises, man. This is great. So, this time period is going to start out with tower moments, what it has for me. And oh Lord, you don't remember, man. I remember everything. I'm bad. I can remember everything. I was in college. Oh, I was just out of college in 2008. Miserable, miserable. However, um, anyway, you are going to read. It's going to start off with tower moments, and I feel like, or I get the feeling that the quicker you can navigate through the tower moments, you can get into the next set of energy, which is the high priestess energy, and then you'll be able to go into the star energy. So by the time we come out at the end of this time period, you will be able to look back and see the tower moments, the high priestess moments, and the star moments, and then we're going to go into um Aquarius, as far as like that kind of stuff is. Pluto's going to go into Aquarius and it's going to stay in Aquarius, and we'll go back starting with the moon energy. It's another reason why they want to be in Aquarius, because in Aquarius you can hide a lot of stuff, but in can't really hide anything in Capricorn. So anyway, it's still Saturn and Saturn 1 and Saturn 2. Like it just, I mean, it's still the Saturnian energy. Um, Both Capricorn and Aquarius are both Saturnian inner energy, Saturn 1 or Saturn 2. So anyway, um, so just understand that these tower moments are going to happen as a part of this Pluto rehashing what has happened since it started in Aquarius. I mean, it started in Capricorn. I keep getting them backwards. This is Saturn rehashing it, okay? I mean, Pluto, good lord. This is Pluto rehashing it. So you want to just it is about the vibration that you hold. You have to, because it depends on the other placements in your chart. So I don't want to overgeneralize it too much, because it really does depend on what your placements are. But you are going to have to be able to navigate these tower moments, and then you're going to come into the high priestess energy, and then we're going to go into the star energy. So that is the layout of this Saturn. Pluto, Pluto in retrograde over from now until the beginning of next year. This is what it's going to be like. And the same thing with Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Pisces is going to be all temperance energy where you have to, balance. The temperance card is about balance. It's about using the elements to balance. Shalom, shalom. So we're going to have to go from this balance energy into this Empress energy, into the world energy. And it's going to be a much shorter time period because is not in retrograde quite as long. But we need to start out this Saturn retrograde holding this Temperance energy, which is literally like what I said. I'm looking at the cards now. I'm like, this is literally what I'm talking about. It's holding the energy, holding the high vibration so that we don't fall into all of the negativity that they want us to. Because, the more I research, and I'm gonna like do some more research videos soon, but the more I research, the more it's apparent that they use all of this um knowledge that I'm discussing. They use it against us. There's no doubt about it that they're very aware of the timeline issues, the timeline jumping. They know about the prophecies. They know about all of this stuff. They are aware of whoever their advisors are. They're aware of how all this stuff works, and we are unaware of how involved some of these things are with us. And because we are naive to how wicked these people are. It's one thing to say, oh, these people, whoever they be, they're very wicked. It's another thing to know that they literally, plot and plan how they're going to do their death rituals, their sacrifices against us by utilizing all this information that's out there literally against us. Just like trying to push us into Aquarius. That's really ridiculous. Because in Aquarius they can hide. They can hide behind they can hide behind Jesus, basically. This master magician, and keep doing their stuff in the dark, and never have it exposed. That's what that's what it is. It's just a way to hide what they're doing, and the wickedness that goes along with that is really really intense. And so it's just one thing to know what they're doing. It's a totally different thing to to understand how it's going on. So I'll give you an example of this, and then I'll end this live stream. I'm not going to make this go on too long. I got the most important things out. But you know there's a particular individual um who is who ran for president. who had a lot of involvement over in Haiti. And I'll call her Cankles because that's what I do. That's what I call her. Very, very wicked person. And I have identified her as the face of the Levitical priesthood just due to her involvement in Haiti. And you know, what I'm finding out is that it seems to me as if Arkansas is um, the home base for this particular coven of individuals that does this kind of black magic. Arkansas is their home base. Now it's very weird. That's a very weird thing because the Wichita Mountains, if you've ever heard of Mountain Valley Spring Water, right? The Wichita Mountains, I found this out I don't know, about 7 or 8 years ago that is the largest deposit of quartz crystal in the world is in the Wichita Mountains. And so that Mountain Valley spring water, that's why it tastes so much different than other water because it has all of that energy from the quartz crystal infused into that water source. So one weird thing about Arkansas. Okay, so that's one thing. One weird thing about Arkansas is that it actually has a lake called Nimrod Lake. Now, from what I understand, when you have the term lake in front of a title, meaning like in Virginia, we have a Lake Anna, Lake Michigan, you know, different Lake Mead, Lake whatever, those are all man made lakes. If they're titled like that, they're man-made. But if you have something lake, like this one, Nimrod Lake, it's supposed to be a natural lake. Now, it's very interesting because if you look at, I looked up Nimrod Lake on Wikipedia, and it just said that Nimrod. First of all, why would you name a um why would you name a lake after Nimrod? And the explanation they give on the website for that is very, very weird. So I just wonder if the Tower of Babel was actually in Arkansas, because why else would you name a lake after Nimrod? Anyway, so you have Nimrod Lake, but they don't call it a lake, they call it a reservoir. So why would you have a place called Nimrod Lake, and it's not a lake, it's a reservoir? So that's a whole, I think it's a misdirection in that. But so I just went looking for Arkansas pagans, and you would not believe how many pagan groups there are in Arkansas. I mean, lots of them. And so I went looking at some of their websites because I said, well, we know that term pagan was hijacked. So what do they mean when they say pagan? No, they Arkansas Arkansas. That's how it's spelled. But it is pronounced the way that you say it, but it's spelled Arkansas, which is weird. It's very weird the way they spelled that too, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, back to the pagans. So, we know that they take those terms, they use them in different ways. What exactly? No, 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 it's okay because it's not spelled the way that it's yeah, I mean, whenever I see the term Nimrod, I'm immediately thinking the Tower of Babel. He's the one that built that. So that's why I'm like, something is going on here. But when I say they have so many pagan groups in Arkansas, um, it is like crazy. So I'm thinking so many covens and all of this stuff. So put all these three things together. You have um this Nimrod Lake. You have these quartz crystals that all come from the Wichita Mountains, and you have all these pagans. And so that tells me that they're doing some high level magic there. Now, this is something else I just found out. So, you know, Bill, of the famous Bill and Monica, that's he was governor of that state. Okay. My old man just told me that um, Daddy Bush had a farm or something in the state in Arkansas. When he was in office, he spent all his time in Arkansas. Um, what I have heard from my old man is that Little Rock is like gang down. Like it is very dangerous to go in Little Rock because of how many gangs there are and how much gang violence there is. And we know that a lot of this gang violence is in relation to um, these satanic rituals, these blood rituals. So you have, all this blood always spilling in the streets, and a lot of times they need blood rituals to get done what they're doing. So you have all this gang activity in Little Rock, and it's just very interesting. So I went and I looked to see if there was a some information about what um their magic is, like what magic do they use. And so I found a book, and it's called Ozark Superstitions. I am working on converting it into a PDF because I could not find the original version in the PDF that was already in the PDF. So I went through and I'm making my own PDF. So I'm working on that. But they have something called let me see. It's called what did they call it in that book? Hold on. It's very weird. Like uh, did it? No, it didn't. What was it called? Anyway, it's some kind of like. Oh, here it is. Ah, why is it so loud? There we go. It came up. It's kind of like root workers, but power doctors. There we go. They have something called power doctors. So, shalom, shalom. They have something called power doctors, and their power doctors are the ones who would go in and actually conduct a lot of these rituals. So, I haven't gotten through researching like this whole book or reading it or anything like that, but I wanted to put that into the ley line that I believe that this is their source of black magic that they've been using against our people, being that they have Nimrod Lake right there. They're probably harnessing, the sun and the moon energy, and trying to, quote unquote, rebuild the Tower of Babel so that they're able to control all the people of the world. So I do believe that a lot of you know, the root work that they've been doing, it comes down to being from this Arkansas area and um, this whole energy. And piggybacking on that, why is it that we're able to have all this knowledge right now? And I've been posting about this, but I haven't really gone into detail about it. So I'm going to do a little bit of detail about this now, which is, I've already said that the priesthood of Melchizedek is being held. They're holding it for us in the Orthodox Church. There's no doubt about that, hands down, because Jesus was the high priest of the priesthood. He was, and they are literally following the priesthood of Jesus, which is the priesthood of Melchizedek. That's all been corroborated. I'm not going to go into all of that. A lot of that is in Hebrews 7. So, um, what has been going on now? Now think about this. They had a dam that actually they blew up in Ukraine, and when you look at the city Koklova, something like that, Koklova, I think that city was a one of these little Orthodox towns, and it had a monastery and all of that, and they're flooding out the towns. Now, how interesting is it that they're flooding out towns right now, and we are here in America finding about all these black cities that they flooded out with these man-made lakes. This is how all this stuff ties together. I know I go all the way around, but I try to bring it back together. So what I believe is happening is that you have a Job situation going on right now. And I'm only speaking on it because um, I don't want to see any people unnecessarily die, and I understand that the angels have their plan and things have to be done a certain way, but to sit back and just have death occur unnecessarily, I don't feel good about that. So I feel like I feel like I need to say something about it. If there's any other way they can solve this without this senseless murdering of people. I don't know if that would have changed Job's situation, but I'm hoping that it will help with these people, because what they're doing is, so the Orthodox, they're not without problems. They're not without you know having done persecution to our people too, right? So it seems like they are being used as a distraction for us. So while our people are out here getting knowledge, you have these Orthodox being persecuted relentlessly, relentlessly. I mean, relentlessly. And so what I'm seeing is that all the stuff that they did to us is starting to pop up in these Orthodox places over in Ukraine. And it's like, as they're doing this stuff to them, what is happening to the Orthodox there is being exposed what is done here. So I'm not saying that these are the same people who did this, but they are being used much like Job to um as a distraction for us to get this knowledge. And I don't like, Job's situation went on for a long time. I don't want our situation to go on any longer than is necessary. And so I'm really hoping that the knowledge that we need to put all of this, this murder, this death to an end, can be revealed quickly, so that less people are harmed in the process, because they are actually killing people. There are people who are actually dying, much like COVID. They people said that nobody was dying. If you were in a blue state, you were like, people aren't dying. What are you talking about? But if you're in a red state, a lot of people die, and so you have to, ask people when they talk about it. You have to know where they're coming from in order to be able to properly address it. So you just have these two competing things going on, and so if you look at the battles that are being fought in this war in Ukraine, every one of them, every one of these places have a tie to orthodoxy, and that is not a mistake, because NATO wants to rebuild the Roman Empire. That's their goal. They are the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. And this is why I refer to the non Orthodox as Roman Christians. All of them, the Catholics, all the denominations. If you're not an Orthodox Christian, you're a Roman Christian. And that's why the Roman Christians aren't being persecuted, because they want to rebuild the Roman Empire. So they need their church. They have to have their church intact. But the church they've been fighting with for thousands of years, which is the Orthodox Church, which is the priesthood of Melchizedek, they want them to be taken out. And that's why you have people defending the Catholic Church, when really the Catholic Church is nothing but the Roman Church. And of course, they want to leave the Roman Church in place so that they can quickly rebuild their empire. They know they need a monarchy and they need a church to rebuild their empire, and they need a military. And that's what they're trying to do. That's what NATO has troops, because they figure if they get their own military, they already have the religion in place, they have the monarchy in place, they can quickly rebuild their empire. And so the more that we expose this as their plan, the harder it is for them to do. And this is why I think identifying the source of their power, which is Nimrod Lake in Arkansas, and this book, Ozark Superstitions, which is probably their real Bible that they use to do all their magic. It should totally dismantle them. Because now the information is in the ley line. I just found all this stuff out in the last 24 hours. The information is in the ley line. They can't go and take it out the ley line. We know what we do here with these ley lines. Everybody will be talking about this in a week or two. But this is why I thought it was important to put out there all the battles in Ukraine, all the fighting they're doing in Russia. They're taking out the Orthodox, and this is the Orthodox paying for their role in our persecution. And I, because they had mercy on me, I am, putting this information out there in the hopes that the Most High has mercy on them, because I don't want them to be like Job, where they have to be completely destitute and lose everything. Even if it is restored, it's extremely difficult to lose everything. And this is crazy. Tie this in a bow, and I'm gonna go sleep. I watched the Perry Stone video. He said almost died here, and if you want to go and look at it, I do recommend it. Right. So the story of almost died here, he talks about how Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he almost died. He basically had sweat that turned into blood. He had some kind of heart attack. And so he was telling the Most High, if you don't save me now, I'm going to die right here and I can't complete my mission. And so the Most High had to save him at that moment. Otherwise, he was not going to make it to the cross so we could have our absolution. And so the way Perry Stone tells it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is exactly what is happening. If we are not preserved, we could die right here, and then the mission would not be completed. So we need the Most High to preserve us to get us through this. And so I feel like the more people who are able to be preserved in this process, the better it is. We don't want people who weren't there, who are not their forefathers, who are not their ancestors, to be punished for what their ancestors did. Their ancestors need to be punished for that. And unless they are their ancestors, and some people are and some people aren't, I can't make that determination, but I can say that I don't want to see any unnecessary pain and suffering and no unnecessary death. And so, whatever I can do from this side of the veil to help with that, that's how I see it. And so, even though we know what the Job treatment is like, we've read the story, we read the testament of Job, it's really, really horrible. I don't want anybody to have to go through that if there's another way out. And being that we are in the strength energy, the inner strength energy, with the Leo, as opposed to being a magician where everything has to be brought dark to light, it can be exposed within me. Like I can find out in 24 hours that Arkansas is the capital of black magic, where they're doing all their stuff. I found that out in less than 24 hours. That was put inside of me. I didn't come from using the sun or the moon or the planets to figure out the information. That was something that was the Holy Spirit gave to me. And so I would, implore the spirits to give us the information like that, put that stuff on our hearts, put us on the timeline instead of having us go through the pain, the birth of bringing this thing out to the public. Just put us on a timeline when everybody knows. And so that these people are just unable to function because everybody knows all their secrets. It's told to them in their sleep. It's put on TV. It's put on the ley line. It goes into their media. However it is that these people can be told, so that we don't have to go through this painful birth process of this stuff being put out. Let it be done in the easiest way possible that preserves life. Because if the time is not shortened for us, we're not going to make it out of this time period. I keep telling my dad, there's only two ways out of here. Either they're going to have to come up off some money. We're still basically with the Capricorn energy, the Aquarius energy, and the Pisces energy. We're in the Pentacles energy. We're in the money energy. Everywhere everywhere they look, it's money. And so they're gonna have to come up off this money one way or another. So if they don't come up off this money, then somebody's gonna have to come in and take us out of here because these people are just what they're doing is horrible. It's truly, truly horrible. And so so I think it would be easier for us to just, the Holy Spirit to just drop it into us, and let the message get out like that than to go through this painful birth process of putting Nimrod and Diana. See, they probably using the dark side of Diana. Well, isn't that a song, Dirty Diana? Diana is not a negative entity, but they probably using their dark side, just like they did Lilith. Lilith is not a negative entity, but if they're using the dark side of Lilith, then they're in trouble. All this stuff just needs to be exposed. I did not know that they worship Nimrod and Diana. That's really good information. That makes a lot more sense. Anyway, so we just have to it's funny because we've been working with Diana for a while, and you see how these people, they just take the negative as whatever negative side that they can, and do these blood sacrifices, and try and get to it's awful. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there that we just don't want any unnecessary pain and suffering. We don't want any unnecessary death. Our pentacles have been restored, but we have to be given, they have to be given to us, and also if they're in this Aquarius energy, they can keep us in the Five of Pentacles energy where the money is right here. Like the Aquarius energy is really bad because, like, I'm looking at it under Aquarius, you have the Five of Pentacles, which is the pentacles are on the wall and the people are destitute and walking by. You have the Four of Pentacles. Was that the six? That's the Six of Pentacles, where the rich man is passing out the money. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles, where you make the money, but you're unsatisfied with it. So they can keep us. That's another reason why they want us in this Aquarius energy. Good God. They can keep us dissatisfied with money in this Aquarius energy, which is why we have to reject it. I reject it every single time I can. I reject that energy. We are in the strength energy. We are in the strength. We are not in this, weird pentacles energy where they can just keep us unhappy, and waiting for someone else to give us our money. No, the money comes from the Most High. We can skip over those energies and go straight to the source. We don't have to get stuck by that. But it's real easy to keep us in that energy. So I know they have this tarot spiral. They probably use it just like this. And they never thought that we would get this information, but we have it. We're able to use it, and we just want to. The most important thing you should take from this live stream is to stay on a positive vibration, focus on what you want. If when obstacles, tower moments come in, identify them, deal with them, but don't put too much emotion into them. Don't get all emotional about it. And if you feel like you are getting emotional about it, redirect your emotions. Say, I don't want to be on this timeline. I want to be on the timeline where this is not an issue, and reject, any feeling or thought that makes you think that, being in lack is what you deserve, because that is a very, very powerful trick that they are really trying to play on us, and that's not true. This being in lack is not something that we deserve. We are all through the Ace of Pentacles energy. We are not supposed to have any lack at all, and so we have to say, and we don't have any lack. What they're doing is they're tricking us. It's an illusion. The fact that we have lack is an illusion, and we have to reject the illusion, and we have to reject that illusion because it's not real, and we don't want to be subjects of that. So I hope that this information is helpful. I do have a Discord server. I haven't posted a lot of stuff in there yet. I will be, especially doing like conversations that I can't put on YouTube. I will be posting that kind of stuff there. That's soon to come, because I am tired of people taking my information and pretending like they don't know what I'm talking about and using it and not giving me any credit. And I understand that how the ley line works where the information is given to multiple people. I understand that, but that thing with gene decode, with the writing, with these contracts and stuff like that, that really, really pissed me off. Because that guy is a grifter, and I don't like that. I don't want my stuff to be used to grift people. And so I just have to reject that. So you'll see more stuff, more information, and in the description of this video, I'll link the Discord server. Um, if people want to get on there so we can start building our offline network, which is going to be very, very important to us in the future. So shalom everyone, you guys, please high vibration, and don't get stuck on these tower moments, because this time period is going to be over fast, and we really have to stay positive. So I will see you guys in the next video. Shalom.